Shaggy has a girlfriend? Who would have thought? I guess they broken up because I haven't heard from Googie again after this movie. Hey everyone, this is Rowdy's blog Animation Bliss, and welcome to another Spotlight Cartoon Corner. So today's Spotlight Cartoon we talk about today is the Scooby-Doo movie, Scooby-Doo and the Reluctant Werewolf. And before I get into my thoughts about this film, here are a few words from the channel. Alright Animaniacs, now let's get on the social media train. Want to chat with us in 100 words or less? Then check out our Twitter account. Want to chat with us within a group? Then check out our Facebook account. Want to get the lowdown on everything dealing with animation on this channel? Then check all of the above. And now, we return to our regularly scheduled program. So Scooby-Doo and the Reluctant Werewolf starts off with Shaggy, Scooby, and Scrappy-Doo participating in a car race, and they ended up winning the car race. And then the scene shifts to Dracula as he's trying to figure out where he's going to get a new werewolf, because the werewolf he had before had decided to take a permanent vacation and decide not to come back to Dracula. It was then that Dracula discovers Shaggy, and that he found out that Shaggy's going to transform into a werewolf that very night. So Dracula decides to send his two hunchback minions to find Shaggy, so that way they could turn Shaggy to a werewolf and have him participate in the monster car race that Dracula is hosting. When Shaggy finally does transform into a werewolf, the hunchback ends up taking Shaggy to Dracula, and Dracula tells Shaggy that if he participates in this monster car race, then he will turn Shaggy back into a human. So Shaggy decides to go into the race so that way he could transform back into a human. So what are my thoughts about this movie? I love this movie. Like, this is one of my all-time favorite movies from the Hanna Barbera Superstars 10 series. The reason why this is one of my favorite movies from the Hanna Barbera Superstars 10 series is because it's one of the funniest movies that they have. Like, I love the humor throughout this movie, as you get a lot of characters getting smacked around, and then you have the characters do a lot of crazy things throughout this movie, and I just love the humor throughout this movie. I especially love the character Dracula himself, as he's more like a punchy bag throughout this movie than an actual threat in this movie, and I just love how this movie portrayed Dracula himself. But another thing I really liked about this movie was how it stand out from the other movies in the Scooby-Doo franchise. Like, when we think about the Scooby-Doo franchise, we think about how it's about a group of kids who go on a mystery and try to solve the mystery. Here in this movie, it's about the main characters going on a car race and then trying to beat each other while racing against each other in this race. And this is actually very different than what I've seen in a lot of Scooby-Doo movies and TV shows, because as I stated before, the Scooby-Doo franchise is mostly focused on the mystery aspect, and the fact that this movie is more focused on the car racing aspect was really bizarre yet entertaining to watch. And I love seeing all the monsters try to race against each other as they try to get that trophy cup. And then I like to see how Shaggy is trying to go inside this race because he wants to transform back into a human. So one thing that this movie does have in common with the rest of the Scooby-Doo franchise is that at least there's monsters in this movie. And the monsters in this movie are actually real, so that was really impressive to see. And then another thing I like about this movie is that Shaggy has a girlfriend in this movie. Like, I really like the character of Googie herself. Like, she's like the only sane person in this movie, and she tries to help Shaggy win the race, and she's very supportive of Shaggy throughout the movie. So I do like how they portray Googie's character in this movie, and I thought it was really interesting for Shaggy to have a girlfriend, even though I don't mind Shaggy not having a girlfriend in the franchise. But the fact that this is like the only movie where Shaggy actually has a girlfriend was really interesting, and it really made this movie stand out from the rest of the movies and TV shows in the Scooby-Doo franchise. Now, if there was an issue that I had with this movie, is that I felt like the second half was kind of dragging along because it focused more on the car racing, and we don't get a lot of character moments in the second half of the film. But despite that, I did like the fact that we get to see all these monster characters racing against each other to get that trophy. So I did find that part a little entertaining. But overall, I really enjoy Scooby-Doo and the Reluctant Werewolf. I think it's one of the most unique movies in the Scooby-Doo franchise. The fact that it focused on car racing instead of solving mysteries, and the fact that Shaggy has a girlfriend in this particular movie was really interesting to watch. And if you want to watch a Scooby-Doo movie that's really funny, I highly recommend you check out Scooby-Doo and the Reluctant Werewolf. So So those are my thoughts on Scooby-Doo and the Reluctant Werewolf, and tell me in the comments down below, have you seen Scooby-Doo and the Reluctant Werewolf? If you have, did you like this movie? Did you hate this movie? And what were some of your favorite Scooby-Doo movies or TV shows that were different from the rest of the franchise? Please feel free to tell me in the comments down below. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is Rabbity Swallow Animation Bliss, and I'll see you guys later.